So a long time ago, when I was in middle school, I won a national savings bond. It was only for like $75 for a speech contest that went nationally. It was showed up on television. There was like really short excerpts of it, but that was the first time that I realized that I was good in public speaking. I think at the time in Houston, I went to a place called Crespo Elementary. And at that time, when I was a young kid, obviously this is a very long time ago. I'm 37 years old. So this happened almost 20 years ago, or if not more. I wrote a speech and I forgot why, because Crespo was a magnet school, and part of being in a magnet school, you would do like a lot of extracurricular activity. It was like a requirement. And so I guess I was in speech. And I guess, given now that I consider myself a very good speaker, that it showed back then that I was good at speaking and it was one of my talents. And it's so crazy thinking about this all these years later that this is actually true. And a lot of our traits when we were young are the same traits that we have when you're younger. And a lot of times we end up doing completely different things with our lives. And when people say, use your talents, use your skills to get ahead, a lot of times we find ourselves doing finance and business and all these other random things that have nothing to do with our God-given natural talents. So way back then, when I was in middle school at Crespo, it was either early middle school or late elementary, I won a national speech contest and, or regional wide, district wide, really, to be more exact. And basically I wrote about the parallels between how Martin Luther King and Malcolm X ideals were different and how to meet and how they both came to the same point in the middle. I don't remember the details of the speech. I just know that I ended up winning school wide. Then we went district or regional wide, and I ended up placing second place. The girl who got first place was a young Muslim girl, which I thought was very ironic because I was Muslim as well. And they were both, she was a Black African-American female and I was obviously African-American male. And I ended up winning. And when I look back on it all these years later, I realized, hey, speaking has always been something that I've been very, very good in. It's been a natural thing for me. I got a lot of my jobs because of it. I find myself speaking and practicing out loud how to talk and pronunciate stuff. Sometimes when I have ideals in my head, I practice saying them out loud, even if nobody's around. So this is something that I've always been good at. That's a natural talent. And looking back all those years, it seems that even as a little kid, I had this talent. Now, I think this is important when you really think about it, because a lot of us live our lives, especially in the modern ages as we get older, chasing things. And we spend a lot of time watching videos, taking quizzes to try to figure out what your passion or your talent is or your unique thing is. And a lot of times it's already been revealed and acted out in a small way in your childhood. And I think sometimes we need to take that way more serious than we actually take it. Because when I look back, when I was in Crespo Elementary, or early Dean Middle School, I forgot which one, but I think it was Crespo Elementary. The fact that I was able to win a regional-wide speech contest, the fact that I was able to even construct a speech at that age that was about subjects like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and how they could meet in the middle with their ideals, the fact that I went on to win second place, it was second or third place in the finals, and we actually had a little small segment of the speech contest on television. I still can't find it to this day. That's crazy. And back then I have another burnt image in my mind. That savings bond was designed to mature over a long period of time. Probably would have been worth for maybe 20 years later, maybe $2,000, but it was $75. And one thing that I do remember about that savings bond is that we were struggling. We had five kids, mom and a dad, riding the bus most of our life. And I remember distinctly that we went to a bank and cashed that savings bond, and we were able to buy some food for the family that day. Obviously, food was coming every once in a while. It was always a struggle to get the next meal. I just remember catching a bus somewhere on like 50 in Harrisburg, my mom holding my hand behind me. And we finally took that savings bond and cashed it in. I don't think we got $75. We got like a proportion of it for cashing in early. And we used that to buy some food. So that's like the type of things that are burnt into my memory, that I had this talent back then, which was talking or maybe constructing speeches and ideals. And then all these years later, has been one of my strongest suits that has served me throughout my entire life, from getting to college. Most of the jobs I got because how I conducted myself, how I was able to speak and articulate myself in interviews, being super clear, explaining exactly what I did at previous jobs and how it connects to the job they're asking me. This has always been a talent. I had people tell me in interviews, even though I didn't trust why they were saying it, hey, you're one of the best speakers I ever heard. I would hire you. You just don't have the right experience. So being able to communicate something I realized I had at a very young age. And if you look farther enough in your past, you might find things about yourself that highlights a talent you have. And so again, I tell people again and again, if you're looking for a new path in life, if you're looking to do something that's based around your passion or natural talents, and you're an older person who's doing a job that has nothing to do with that, look back in your past. Ask your parents, hey, what was I doing all the time? Have I ever won any contests? Have I ever been recognized for a particular thing? Because you might find when you're young and your mind hasn't been influenced by the modern world, your natural talents that stand out. Now, when I say stand out, like winning a speech contest, that's other people recognizing your talent. And so if you can't recognize what you were good at back in the day, go ask your parents. Go remember the sports you played. Go remember the extracurricular activities that your parents put you in, and ask, hey, did anybody ever recognize me? Did I win anything? Did I compete and do well? Because these things can identify specific talents that you have that could be useful for your future. So I do remember that. I remember being in that speech contest, riding a bus to another location, watching a whole bunch of young kids on stage give their speech. Then I gave my speech and I ended up winning second or third place. I knew it was going to be on television. I know I received a savings bond. And I remember walking down the street with my mother one day because we needed food, cashing in that savings bond early and getting some food. So I hope you enjoyed that story, and I hope you guys take the time to go back and look into your past. Look at the hobbies you used to do. Look at the things you were good at. Go look at trophies. Go ask your parents, no matter how old you are, hey, what was I good at? What was I doing a lot? What did people notice about things that I naturally like to do? Because that's probably somewhere near where your natural talents or inclinations are. Because when you're at that age, you're not thinking about making money or some practical position. You're only doing what's natural or attractive and what's good to you. Thanks for listening.